Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the fellow KGB channel. Today is March 10th. It's about 5:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be going over the franchise tag news. We had the franchise tag deadline yesterday, so we got a few things brewing. We had some players being cut, some things going on. So we're just going to hop into a screen share, and we'll kind of just review the daily news and notes from the last couple of days through the NFL. Now, the big names, I think we're going to cover the most for fantasy relevancy. Of course, Chris Godwin got the franchise tag. He's going to have to get a deal worked out at some point. Maybe it's this year, maybe next offseason as well. So we're going to watch for Chris Godwin in the future here. There's Tom Brady, like that's an alluring position to be in. And so Chris Godwin's going to happily take that franchise tag, and we'll see if he can get a long-term deal worked out. The Jets signed their safety Marcus May. Carolina Panthers got Taylor Moton. I think he's their right tackle. I can't remember. But Dak Prescott, this one was interesting. So he technically was franchise tagged, but he also signed a 4-year deal. So it's a little bit messy, but they're calling it a procedural move, agreeing to a record-setting contract on Monday. So he got signed for 4 years. But this is technically his last time being franchise tagged. So it worked out for both sides. Great to see Dak Prescott sticking with those talented receivers of Gallup, Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. You got Allen Robinson here, franchise tagged by the Chicago Bears. Now, I don't think he's too happy about this. It sounded like he wanted to test the free agency market and see what happens here. But the Chicago Bears, thinking of the GM, Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, all these guys, they're tied to this season. Like they need success this season. So of course they're going to try to keep their best players around. So Allen Robinson, we'll see if they address the quarterback position for him. Maybe Alex Smith can come in. I don't know if there's any other veterans that they're looking at, but we'll see if they can upgrade Trubisky to keep Allen Robinson happy and hopefully get themselves a winning season this year. Cam Robinson for the Jaguars, Brandon Scherff for the Washington football team, Justin Simmons for the Denver Broncos, Leonard Williams for the New York Giants, Marcus Williams. So you're seeing a lot of defense here in a row, a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of key defensive pieces here. But that's really it for the main fantasy guys. Now, it's almost more important to note some of the guys that did not get the franchise tag. And that's, of course, going to be Aaron Jones, Kenny Golladay, Chris Carson, Shaq Griffin, Hunter Henry, and Jonnu Smith. So we got two potential tight end ones for fantasy available in the free agency market. And you got Aaron Jones, top 5, top 10 running back, and Kenny Golladay, a top 5, top 10 receiver. Chris Carson, probably a solid RB2. But we're really interested to see where these guys end up signing. I still think Green Bay has a chance to get Aaron Jones back on a 1 or 2 year deal, so we'll watch that. Same with Hunter Henry. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go back to the Chargers. But super interesting. We'll see where these guys end up. But that's like the main franchise tag news, and that deadline expired yesterday. So now we're just kind of waiting until Monday, because Monday is, technically the legal tampering period where teams can begin signing. I don't think it's official until Wednesday, but we should see a lot of reports and people signing come Monday. So now I'm looking at, we're just on Sports Edge here, looking at some of the headlines. Now, there's been a handful of players that were cut. You see Riley Reif was cut from the Vikings. Gus Edwards was tendered. They're working on an extension with Gus Edwards. That's pretty interesting. Kind of sucks for J.K. Dobbins owners. We were kind of hoping that Gus Edwards would leave, but they have a really nice 1-2 punch with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Interesting note here, the Jaguars GM wants to add more running back competition. I don't think that's going to impact James Robinson too much. They just don't have a lot of depth there. So I think that's kind of a misleading headline. The Giants cut Kevin Zeitler, clearing up $12 million in cap space. That's a pretty big free agent offensive lineman there for us. Teams have been calling the New England Patriots about N'Keal Harry. We'll see if they can free him. He's been kind of a frustrating first-round pick, probably like a top 5, top 6, rookie pick back in those dynasty drafts there. The Titans are going to be releasing Kenny Vaccaro to save almost $4 million. And then the Bills released John Brown, saving about $8 million this year. So a lot of guys being moved and cut. That's with the NFL kind of set the cap for the season. I think it's $182.5 million for the season. So we're going to see teams start to crunch their numbers, let go of some veterans, trying to clear up space to make these moves. So now I'm just going to kind of read through some of the player newses and the headlines here. So we'll go to headlines and let's kind of walk ourselves down here. The Cowboys were able to restructure contracts with Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and La'el Collins. Really good for the running back. Ezekiel Elliott and just the future for Dak Prescott there, making sure he's safe. Again, Riley Reif was released by the Vikings. Let's see here. The Jaguars have not been awarded a comp pick for the 11th consecutive season. They got to get better, a little bit better at drafting. But Gus Edwards, there's that news there. Here's the talk about the running backs, but I don't know. I still think James. Here's what the GM said. I still think that James Robinson will continue to do a great job for the organization, but you can only ride a horse for so long. So that's kind of interesting. I still think he's a solid RB2 option, fringe RB1 this year. We'll see who they add if they draft one, if they sign a couple guys. But Kevin Zeitler, you got N'Keal Harry, Kenny Vaccaro. So those are kind of all the top headlines from the day. Let's kind of dig a little bit deeper here. Let's see here. This one's kind of interesting. The Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater. So Panthers coach Matt Rule says, as far as where Teddy Bridgewater stands with us, he's our quarterback. This doesn't, the first line of this blurb is, this reeks of Josh Rosen is our guy. So I would assume Teddy Bridgewater is going to get traded, cut, released, something. They're probably going to have to eat some money in that deal. But we know the Carolina Panthers are actively trying to get, they tried their hardest to get Matt Stafford. They're still in on the Deshaun Watson, but that might be a long wait to get Deshaun Watson freed up. But we know Carolina wants a quarterback. So we'll see if they can either release or, trade Teddy, or I don't know if a team like Chicago would want a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, but that seems like a lateral move. But interesting to watch what the Carolina Panthers do with their quarterback position. The Saints released Emmanuel Sanders. I don't know what his market value is going to be. This is really good for Traquan Smith, though. Traquan's going to be the de facto number 2. We also saw them release Jared Cook, so they're kind of trimming some of their older players out of the offense. We still don't know if Drew Brees is going to play, so that's something to keep an eye on, too. But again, the NFL, the salary cap situation is making a lot of these teams, look at their veterans and kind of trim their roster. You see a lot of guys like John Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, some of the defensive players are just getting squeezed out a little bit right now. Good update here on Joe Mixon's foot. It's healthy, feels good right now. That's good to know. I'm super excited about Joe Mixon this year. It's going to be year 2 of Joe Burrow. I think it's the 4th season of Zach Taylor. I can't remember, but the Bengals should be much improved, probably one of the more improved teams on offense this year. So super excited here. The Saints are releasing Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander just hasn't really been the same since he got paid. He had the Achilles injury that he got in San Francisco a year ago, and he just he's going to get cut for about $13 million for the cap. So interesting move there. The Saints just cleared up a lot of money. They cleared up $13 million with Quan, and I don't know here, it doesn't say, about $4 million here. So that's a good hefty amount of money there for the cap rule. Melvin Gordon, DUI charges against Melvin have been dismissed due to evidentiary concerns. So I don't know if there's going to be an NFL fine for him. So continue drafting Melvin Gordon or not drafting Melvin Gordon, whatever side you're on there. The Bengals signed Brandon Allen to a 1-year contract, just a solid backup there. Now, here's the Aaron Jones blurb that I wanted to get to. So this is Ian Rappaport saying the Packers believe free agent Aaron Jones is a part of their future. So I think there's mutual. It's mutual. Like both sides want to get a deal done. I don't think Aaron Jones wanted to play under the franchise tag. He wants some security here, so he's probably looking for a 2-3 year deal at the minimum. And he's a good player. He can test his free agency market. But again, with the limited cap space this year, maybe he's not getting that much different numbers than what Green Bay has put on the table. So this one's one to keep an eye on. I think Aaron Jones can return back to the Packers. I think the likeliness of I feel really good about A.J. Dillon getting more put on his plate this year. It's just a matter of, is it Aaron Jones or is it Jamal Williams? I think one of those guys stays in Green Bay to form a duo with A.J. Dillon. So a lot to keep an eye on there in Green Bay at the running back spot. And then here's another Rappaport tweet. He's reporting Chris Godwin's franchise tag will serve as a placeholder until they can agree to a long-term contract. So Godwin's probably going to have to stay healthy this year. This is probably one of the best seasons to take Chris Godwin. I know a lot of people were nervous about taking him high last year, but I love Chris Godwin this year. He's getting paid this year, but he knows that there's still a long-term contract that needs to be done. So I think we're going to get the best of Chris Godwin. So he's one of my favorite early fantasy takes if you guys are doing best balls and stuff right now. So we'll keep moving on here. The Titans are releasing Malcolm Butler. Again, another veteran just getting kind of shaved off the deal. Levante David, 2-year, $25 million contract. That's the first signing of Tampa Bay's own guys so far. They have a couple other guys to make sure are paid. I think Shaq Barrett needs some money. Of course, Chris Godwin's getting some of the franchise tag, but there's a couple other guys there that we have to watch and see what's going on. The Titans and not franchising Jonnu Smith. This one's interesting. I think Jonnu Smith, a lot of people got excited about him. He had that hot start of the year when A.J. Brown was kind of in and out and kind of banged up. But he fell off towards the end, but he's still, for like best ball perspective, Jonnu Smith's a great option. So I think if any team needs a starting tight end, Jonnu Smith's going to be high on the list. I don't know what his market would be. But I mean, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, those are two fantastic tight ends. So I'm super excited to see where Jonnu Smith goes. It sounds like the Buffalo Bills have been really making it known that they want a tight end. It wouldn't surprise me to see them go get a guy like Jonnu or Hunter Henry. So I'm just trying to think of other teams that might need a tight end right now. And I think Jonnu Smith, man, compared to Hunter Henry, he might be a little bit cheaper. I'm super excited to see what he can do and where he lands. But keep an eye on Buffalo. I think that's a sneaky dark horse there. Vikings releasing Dan Bailey, the Cardinals not assigning it to Hassan Reddick. Just some random, some not franchise tag news. Of course, the Chris Carson news, he's going to be a free agent. I mean, you think about teams that need running back, whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Falcons, whether it's, I guess, the Dolphins, whether the Jaguars sound like they want another backup here too. So I think Chris Carson and Aaron Jones, those are both top-notch running backs on the market. They're both under, he's 20, Carson's 26, and I think Jones is maybe 25. I can't remember. Aaron Jones, let's see how old Aaron Jones is. Aaron Jones is only 26. He turns 27 in December. So both guys 26. Both got 2-3 years left. So they're going to get a 2-year, 3-year contract hopefully somewhere. And then here's long-term contract talks for Shaq Barrett. That's a key one for Tampa Bay. And we'll see where their money lies after that one. But I don't know, just a bunch of other things going on here. Got some releases. I'm just trying to see if anything. So this Kenny Golladay one, I think the Dolphins are a hot name, whether it's Kenny Golladay, Aaron Jones. I think that's a really interesting spot for one of those guys. The receivers, I think, the ability for them to draft a running back in the first round is very, very good. I think they have the 20th overall pick. I can't remember here. Let's pull the draft order up. NFL draft order, and we're going to go to Tankathon. Tankathon's got my favorite list here. So as far as first-round picks, they pick 18th. They could easily just pull a running back there and save themselves a good 4-year deal on a guy like Aaron Jones or Chris Carson. So I think I'm more inclined with Miami maybe going for a guy like Kenny Golladay. Give him the money. Because after Devontae Parker, who's great, you got Preston Williams, who's been dinged up 2 times, once in each season so far. And then after that, the depth just falls off. So I think Kenny Golladay could be a lot of fun for a guy like Tua, a lot of success in that downfield passing game. So keep an eye on the Dolphins. I think they're going to be making some moves. And then I guess the other team that makes sense for tight end is going to be Jacksonville. They need a tight end pretty badly here. What's going here? There's been chatter about Miles Boykin being converted to tight end. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. Some Evan Ingram news, some Hunter Henry news, but I don't know. That's about it. I think we're going to probably hear more buzz and whatnot going on through the weekend. But again, Monday, I think Monday is going to be, I'll probably do an update video on Monday because I think that's when we're going to be drinking from the fire hose. And there's just going to be a ton of names and news and things going on. Now, keep in mind, Monday's the first day where teams can actively talk and sign free agents, in paper. But it can't be sealed until Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have an exciting week next week. Super excited for that. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave me a comment. Where do you guys think Aaron Jones? Where do you think Kenny Golladay, Chris Carson? Where do you think some of these free agents are going to go? Let me know. Maybe we've got some trade news. Who did the Bears go get for quarterback? Let me know in the comments, and we can have a conversation. But that's going to do it. Have a good one. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Peace.